Hey everyone, how's it going? Pixels here. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my DLC review for the Who's Your Daddy DLC on Evil Dead the game. So I'm going to be breaking down the characters. We're looking at the new weapons, the outfits, and the new mission. And then we're going to go over the lackluster patch notes, as well as going over some of the things that the developers have mentioned around before the DLC come out and a few interviews and stuff. And then I'll talk about what I would like to see, and I'm going to read some of you guys' comments about the DLC as well that I've made on my community post. So let's begin anyway. So the first thing I want to talk about is Baal. Obviously, I think Baal has been a really nice addition to the game. You know, he's a really strong demon, and I feel like Baal really sets the standards of what other demons should be like in the game. I think a lot of people might think he's too overpowered. Honestly, I've played against some good Baal players, and he has been really overpowered. But since I've been playing Baal, you know, I've probably played about 20 games, if not more, of him. And honestly, with my build that I recently did as a video, I haven't lost a game with him, and I've barely even defended any objectives. I've been wiping teams out so early, and that might have been because they removed the matchmaking system from the game. So we can go up against either Prestige 5 teams, or we can go up against completely new players. But I don't know, it's just because I've been getting new players or something, but I've been absolutely just destroying survivors with him, and I think he's kind of setting the standard of what we expect from demons, honestly. You know, having the ability to automatically set down traps with his active ability, and then not sitting there holding down the Y button to set down a trap and slowly gaining threat level. You know, it simply is collecting infernal energy, pressing a button, and then just zooming around, obviously setting down loads of traps, gaining loads of threat level, and you can kind of keep up the pace with the survivors who decide that they want to map rush. So if the survivors decide to map rush, you can just keep setting down traps, and then if you find a survivor, you can start fucking with them with the fear loop possession thing. I think the fear loop and possession stuff might be a bit too strong on him. They might have to nerf that a little bit. But overall, you know, just playing him, all of his units, you know, all his units feel really nice to use. A lot of people think that the boss unit might be a bit sluggish and slow, but that kind of has to be a part of his kit, if I'm being honest. You know, with the way how fast his basics and elites can attack, and, you know, spam abilities with them, and how much you can possession chain survivors, I think it's only fair that we had a slower boss unit. However, the way I play him, I don't see that as an issue. You know, going invisible, getting a grab on a survivor that has high fear level, you do a lot of damage that way if you're not interrupted. And then going back invisible, or, you know, swinging some more attacks, and then, you know, doing his other abilities as well, they work really well if you know, do a little combination of them. And then obviously he has his mass paranoia thing there, so he kind of has like two abilities where you use the mass paranoia to, you know, get a free possession on a survivor. And, you know, the thing what I like the best about Baal is that you have the different variety of playstyles with him. You know, you can go the whole tankiness and damage route with him, or you can start, you know, doing a hybrid build between fear, tankiness, and damage, or you can kind of just focus on one thing. You know, with the other demons, and playing Survivor personally against a lot of the other demons, and playing a little bit of demon myself, you know, with Necromancer and Puppeteer and Warlord. I didn't really play Plaguebringer that much, but even just playing against Plaguebringer, I think they became very predictable and easy to counter. You know, I think the Flautist on Necromancer, all that stuff kind of needed adjusted and looked at. I think Necromancer used to be probably the best demon in the game, but they absolutely just massacred this man, and I think he's possibly the worst demon to play as. You know, Warlord's kind of good. You know, Warlord's very tanky. They offer a lot of damage, you know, and, you know, in overwhelming situations, Warlord can be kind of strong. And again, there was a point in the game where Warlord was probably the best demon because of the early possession spam on the basics. But again, you know, the thing we've noticed with Baal and probably his Plaguebringer is that they're not having the slight cooldowns between chain and combos, which, again, this is what should be setting the standard for the other demons, and the other demons really need to be brought up to this level where, you know, you're doing a combo and you're not going to be staggered for, like, you know, 5 seconds before you can actually start attacking the survivor again. There's actually ways around that. Being able to, like, dodge forward with Baal's units and then start doing the combos again can be very difficult for survivors to counter that. And, you know, that just not having every unit feel sluggish has been very nice to play a demon like that. you know, a necromancer, his skeletons just attack too slow, his elites attack too slow, and even the boss unit's very slow. Of course, you know, they can be quite tanky with the shields and stuff, but I really don't find him a problem when I play against him. And, you know, the same can go for Warlord. The Warlord, again, you know, quite sluggish attacks, even if you're using like some puke builds or, you know, the fart gas on Henrietta and stuff. There is ways to play them, don't get me wrong, but with the sluggish gameplay they offer, I think Baal is just, you know, night and day compared to other demons. And, you know, I think Plaguebringer is probably the closest to Baal, if I'm being honest. Plaguebringer does offer quite a lot of fast attacks and some spammable abilities, and can be quite difficult to play against. But, you know, with Elagos and Plaguebringer, again, and they just sort of became predictable. Elagos, again, such a one-dimensional demon. There was a time where Elagos just totally sucked and probably was the worst demon, so they did bring him up a bit. But, you know, again, most Elagoses only play for the book phase. You know, the boss unit on Elagos is not great. Power Possessing Basics is arguably his strongest playstyle, and it's very predictable when people do use that as a way to win the game. And I said they all just became predictable. Baal's something fresh and new and offers a nice variety to the game that the other demons just don't offer, and I really think that they need to be bringing the other demons to his standard. And we're going to talk about obviously the classes. So Baal was introduced to the game as the schemer, and honestly I think he could have just been another puppeteer. I'm not sure why the devs have to feel like they have to add a new class for every demon they added to the game. And why do we have demon classes if we don't have multiple demons per class as well? So this is going to bring me to my next topic. Why don't they start in the future looking at bringing in little variety demons? Like Mr. Roper could be a new warlord, or Kugi could be a new warlord. You know, they could bring Lemon as a new warlord or something. I think Lem actually could probably be his own class as like a pyromaniac or something demon, which I think would have been really cool. You know, a demon that's like based around fire. But, you know, like I'm saying, going to Dead by Daylight, and yes, I know I refer back to Dead by Daylight every time I do a DLC review. I apologize, but it's kind of the only other ASIM game I can compare this to. And why DVD was so successful, obviously about the crossovers and stuff, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about that a whole other time. But when you look at the killers from Dead by Daylight, a lot of them are actually just reworked of other killers' abilities. So, you know, if you look at the Onryo from the Ring chapter, she was actually kind of just a little reworked Freddy Krueger, if I'm being honest. You know, the teleporting around map type of thing. But, you know, being able to sort of like mess around with the palettes a bit and stuff. I just think that's something that could have been introduced into this game a little bit, you know. Like I said, if you bring in Mr. Roper, this is just a quick example, by the way. This is not like my whole concept idea, but just say they brought in Mr. Roper into the game and he was another warlord. All of his abilities were somewhat similar to warlord, just little tweaks. You know, the active ability is a bit different, but all the basics sort of play the same. The elites played the same way, and they all had like a value stop outfit cosmetic. And obviously, Mr. Roper was like a whole new boss unit that would play differently to what Henrietta offered. So I don't understand why they don't do that. We'd get a lot more demons in the game at a faster pace as well. You wouldn't have to completely redesign a whole demon class just to add them to the game. I think there is ways that they can do it where they can add these little demons in each class that play sort of similar but offer a little bit of variety, if that makes sense. And it'll be a lot easier on the devs as a workload to introduce new content in the game, and I think that's something that we need to be looking at going forward. But yeah, just to recap, I think Baal is really awesome. I'm a bit disappointed Joel Toback actually doesn't voice him. However, you know, I'm not going to hinder them on that too much because, you know, the voice acting, trying to get a voice, you know, over, you know, maybe it's over the internet or something like that. I don't know, maybe scheduling conflicts factored into it. Obviously, I think Joel looked a bit disappointed in an interview that he wasn't actually playing the character, but at least we got to use his likeness, and he does look great, and he does look like Baal from the TV show. Yeah, overall, I think Baal is a really decent demon, and I'm really excited, and I'm really hyped that he's in the game now. You know, we got announced back at launch, so you got to question why it's taken almost a year to bring him out. If he's been, you know, he's been teased in the game since launch. He's been credited to be voiced by Lord Arthur's voice actor. You know, looking into the game files, there's a lot of other stuff that was obviously leaked at launch that we just don't have in the game. Maybe some of it's scrapped content or whatever. I don't know what the scheduling is, but still, you know, there was no mention of Plaguebringer at launch at all. So you got to kind of think, like, how long has Baal actually been made in this game, or how long has he been a concept idea? and why is he taking nearly a whole year to bring to the game, which again is a bit disappointing. But overall, it's nice to have him in the game. I think he offers a nice variety to the demon class and to the survivors as well. Playing against a new demon is very nice and a nice change of pace. So now we're going to talk about Brock. So Brock, again, I think he's a good character. However, I've got to question why he was actually added in this DLC. I think a lot of people were looking for Chet, or, you know, even Brandy. Obviously, I think they're kind of sticking around the Season 2 aspect of Ash vs. Evil Dead, but I think, you know, we all wanted Brock in the game. Don't get me wrong. I wanted Brock in the game. I think he was a character that you probably expected to come in, like, you know, year 2 of the game's content cycle, not the first year. I think the first year, you really need to start putting in, like, your big characters and your big players. And that way you can kind of show that you mean serious business to update in this game and keeping it supported going forward. But Brock, for me, you know, I think he's a good character. I think his ability is really cool. You know, not being able to be interrupted during his attacks. So that offers you the chance to actually use some new weapons and different weapons in the game that you're not going to be interrupted swinging heavy attacks. And that works well with using stuff like Last Word on his skill tree. So he offers some variety of gameplay there where you can kind of change his skill tree up a little bit. You know, you can be more damage focused, or you can be more support focused as a leader. And that's what I like to have about my characters. I like to have different ways to play them. And, you know, they did that great with Brock, honestly. And obviously they changed his pink fuck upgrades around a little bit as well. So he has like faster melee, he has faster reload and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he's a good character. A bit disappointed Lee Majors didn't voice him, but you got to understand, you know, 85-year-old man isn't going to want to be voicing a character in a video game, if I'm being honest. I can't personally see him ever wanting to do that. You know, listen to the voice. I don't think they kind of got him right. I mean, he slightly sounds similar. He just kind of has this weird southern accent. He actually, when I hear him in the game, he sort of reminds me of a South Park character. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't think he's a terrible character. I don't think he's an OP character. I think they got him in a nice spot. A lot of people have actually had some complaints about him. I don't think he's a strong survivor at all. I think, you know, he's in the middle ground of being, you know, potentially good and, you know, strong. And he's, you know, he can be very weak in some situations. It all depends on the chemistry of the team and all that stuff. At the end of the day, he's only a leader. So, you know, they're always dependent on the rest of the teammates in the game. I think the main problem for me with him, and I said this when the game came out and I first played him, is that he can carry 5 colas and 5 amulets. And I think that's, you know, kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest, where, you know, if you've got 5 colas on him and then, you know, 8 colas on Cheryl, there's 13 colas between 2 survivors. And I don't think they really, you know, looked at that or think that was going to be a problem. But I said that was going to be a problem straight away. So I don't know if they need to adjust Cheryl a bit, but if they leave Brock with 5 colas, they're going to have to adjust Cheryl, or they're going to have to adjust him holding as many colas. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think like his design was lazy or anything. They actually came up with something unique where he gets a buff depending on who's on his team. You know, it's different if he has non-family members on the team or family members, where it's like damage reduction or extra healing given. I personally think, you know, the extra healing given stuff could be more beneficial than the damage reduction stuff. And you know, it's always different as well if you look at his aura ability as well, where it's like, you know, extra 10% of damage if there's a warrior on the team, and, you know, per warrior or per leader, there's the more fear resistance. So again, they changed him up a little bit. You know, this is probably the first leader that can be like, oh yeah, you can run like 2 leaders with him. Or you can run 2 warriors and then a support character. You know, playing it around like that can be really cool with this guy. So yeah, I don't think Brock was a terrible addition to the game. I just personally would have liked to see Chet more in this update. You know, but for the update, I think it would have been better if they brought it out on the anniversary. If they've got anything planned for the anniversary, I don't know if they will, because of how close this DLC has came out to the anniversary. With the anniversary only being 10 days away, you kind of like thinking they would have just done this whole big update, you know, adding Baal, adding Brock, adding a bunch of other stuff, you know, loads of outfits, some new weapons and things. But hopefully we still get something for the anniversary. Hopefully it's not just like a little boring patch or something, honestly. I think that'd be very disappointing for the player base if we don't get anything for the anniversary. For me, even doing a double Spirit Point event would be something, at least to show that you care. At least to show that you're paying attention to the anniversary and doing events in the game. But yeah, Saber really need to work on that. Yeah, we'll talk about something like that towards the end of the video, regarding that situation. So weapons, they weren't bad in this new update. The pipe and the SMG, they're probably the better weapons that we've had since launch. The only other weapon I will say that was good since the game come out was probably the mace. Everything else has just felt very lackluster. Pipe and the SMG is a bit questionable. I'm not sure why an SMG only has 9 rounds. I've never seen an SMG on any video game ever only have 9 bullets, and other than maybe a Vector. So it's a bit weird that an SMG has such a low clip size but hits hard. I think they probably should have given it a bigger clip size. Maybe he's made its own ammo type, so every round, you know, just say they made SMG or assault rifle ammo or machine gun ammo. Just say they made that and then they put it so it was like 10 rounds per pickup. I think that would have worked better than, you know, keeping it to handgun ammo. Again, it just kind of felt a bit lazy, if I'm being honest with that. The pipe, again, another lazy weapon they've added to the game. It shares the same animations as, you know, the worst weapon in the game for me, which is the baseball bat. So, you know, bringing a new weapon and then sharing animations that are, you know, the worst animations in the game. But, you know, giving it 5 new finishes, and it's a bit weird because it's a blunt two-handed weapon, but has higher dismemberment than balance bar damage. So, again, it kind of just felt like a lazy design. Of course, you know, the legendary pipe and stuff, they all look fantastic. But at the end of the day, we kind of want weapons that are going to be useful. You know, why we have some badass weapons out in the wild here. You know, we have the katana, we have nunchucks, you know, we have like flails and stuff like that they could really look into doing, but instead we get a pipe. I'm just not sure it's creative enough, and it feels very lazy for me, if I'm being honest. But like I said, they're probably the better weapons that we've had since launch, probably since the mace come out. But yeah, you know, weapons at the end of the day, people are still using a lumberjack axe and a boomstick. Okay, so I just want to talk about the outfits really quick. You know, we got the Asylum Ash skin, which I think looks really awesome. Probably the best skin they've introduced into this game at all, to be honest. I think it's really awesome. We'll talk about it in a bit more detail in a minute. We got Kelly's new outfit that you unlock during the mission. You unlock that for free playing the mission, which I think is great. Obviously, we get Pablo's new outfit. I'm not being funny, but it feels like a very lazy outfit. It's, you know, it's an outfit that nobody has been requesting at all, and it's kind of just come out of nowhere. You know, it's an outfit he wears for 1 episode. It looks a very easy design outfit. They probably made it in like a day. So again, I'm not going to give them props for adding that outfit. I mean, it is a new outfit, but, you know, it's a nice clean outfit. I don't mind it. I'm not feeling it, if I'm being honest, to buff or put into a paid bundle. And then we've got Amanda's outfit. So Amanda in this update with her outfits has been very controversial. So we'll just talk about how the outfit that she got was leaked at launch, and it's took almost a year for it to come into the game. And this is, again, going into the devs' content strategy plans, you know, monetizing the game correctly. This is why this game has failed in its first year, if I'm being honest. And I will be doing an overall year review for this game when we do eventually get the anniversary. Apologies. So at launch, obviously, we had a lot of stuff leaked. We had Ruby, Evil Ruby leaked with her demon kids. We had Baal credited with a voice actor. We had a little Lori doll voice actor. Again, the little Lori doll hasn't appeared in the game at all. You know, there's a bunch of other stuff like weapons. You know, there's a bunch of other things that was probably scrapped from the game, like repairing the Delta and stuff, which I can understand. You know, I think it would have been cool to see a different game mode, but I don't think the playbase can survive a game mode like that in the PvP side of things. But we've really got to question, you know, why Amanda has taken nearly a year to get her first ever outfit in the game that was made at launch, because for me, it's just not good enough. It really isn't. We shouldn't be waiting almost a year for an outfit to be introduced to the game that we know has already been made. You know, why all these times we've had content droughts, why have they not thrown that outfit in between just to get something into the game? It's kind of like they just, I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but apparently Microsoft and PlayStation charge for each update you add to the game. So if they're making like, they just seem to bundle everything together, which is okay, I guess, bundling everything together, but going through games, going through months and months without anything added to the game. And again, the new DLC has just come out and the devs have gone completely silent again, by the way. Like, they haven't said anything. Again, we got to question what's going on here. However, with Amanda's outfit, again, I don't know why it took a whole year to add it to the game. There was another outfit that was pushed around the community a lot. It was actually on the Epic Game Store promo image for the DLC, and everything was Amanda wearing like a big overcoat with the FBI badge on it. And I thought it looked fantastic, if I'm being honest. I thought, oh, Amanda's going to get 2 outfits. They might actually redeem themselves here. Someone asked about that outfit on Twitter, and they were like, oh yeah, it's just a concept image. It was an idea just messed around with. It wasn't actually meant to be put out public. I think that, again, just full of shit. Anything Saber says, I always just think they're lying, if I'm being honest, because they say one thing and they do another all the time. So anything they say, I would just totally ignore, because I just think they're full of shit. They don't know how to communicate to the community, and that's what pisses me off. But anyways, we're talking about outfits here, and that's, again, it's something completely I can rant about in a whole other video. And so we're going to go back to the Ashley Slashy outfit. So the Asylum outfit with Ash, I think, was really good. I was very disappointed because you look at Dead by Daylight just got the same outfit. Again, I've got to question what's going on there. Why is a competitor game getting the same outfit as Ash in his own game and getting it before him? Like, it's so fucking bizarre what they are doing. And I really want to do a video calling Saber out on all their bullshit. I really do, because they're starting to piss me off. I don't want to take it personally. You guys shouldn't take it personally, but we spend a lot of time playing this game. We spend a lot of hours playing this game, and it just doesn't feel like they care. They don't they don't feel honest with the player base. There's nobody around the community talking to the community. There's just fucking nothing. People say, oh, well, they talk in the Discord quite often. They go into the fucking Discord and they'll, like, I don't know, answer like 3 questions, and then they fuck off again, start jacking it at their PC. Whoever's running the Discord, I don't know, but something needs to be fucking done, because this game is not going to survive for another year unless something gets done. Fucking put me in charge, put fucking Alucard in charge. I don't care. Give someone with a bit of passion in charge of the game, because it's quite clear that nobody gives a shit over there. They got their money and they fucked off. But anyways, about the outfit. It's weird that Ashley Slashy doesn't talk. This is, again, is a massively missed opportunity here. What they could have done, right? And I said this. They could have introduced this new cosmetic thing called charms. I don't know if you've heard of them in any other video game, by the way, but they're quite popular for monetizing games, to make money, to fund the game, to get new updates. Again, why the hell does Ashley Slashy have voice lines in Dead by Daylight but doesn't have them in Evil Dead? Massively missed opportunity here. They could have introduced him as a new charm that any survivor could have wore instead of just Ash. Could have had them on the back, and that same thing goes to Linda's head, which is already in the game, by the way. They literally could have monetized that, something they've already made. They could have made more money on and put her, strap her to the back of any survivor, and that she talks shit to you as you play in the game. Same goes for a little Laurie doll. Same goes for even Eli from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Even having a little mini Ash or the hand hanging off the back of a survivor. Just imagine the potential there that we could have with those. And not only that, but it offers different variety of playing the game. And so, and people who play Evil Dead are absolute, diehard fans, and a very niche player base, and very loyal. And what they will do is pay money for Evil Dead stuff at the end of the day. They will reach in their bank account and say, here you go, shut up, take my money, let me have this awesome outfit or this awesome cosmetic. And Saber just don't know how to fucking monetize a game, clearly. And, they're only hindering themselves and the player base for this game going forward. And I think they're way out of their depth in game development. I don't really know an inkling on what goes on with game development, but let's be honest, the last 2 years of gaming has been dog shit. And I wouldn't say it's for the lack of effort or the lack of skill, but I think it's the decision making from people who are game designing the games. They are not doing things right, and they're not doing things to steer games into the right direction. I'm mainly talking about multiplayer games here, by the way. You know, Redfall's just come out. That's an absolute piece of shit, by the way. Don't play that. Gotham Knights, that was terrible. You know, there's an endless list of games in the last 2 years that have been absolutely terrible, mainly online games where the developers, and I just don't know if they I don't know if they have the experience or the knowledge of how games are acting. And of course, you know, you look at games like Fortnite, yes, they've got a massive workforce, a lot of people working on this game, and maybe we're asking too much of the devs, but, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, adding charms to the game is going to be something that's going to be too strenuous unless they have a development team of like 5 fucking people working on this game, which then again, I'm going to question their decision making on that. But yeah, again, we're talking about outfits here. I would like to see more outfits in the game. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe in the next year, they'll actually pay attention to us and start putting, you know, do a marketplace, for example, like I've always said, put outfits in the marketplace for us to buy. And that way the game can make money and we can all be happy. Okay, so I just want to quickly go over the patch notes that we got in this update. I know it's not really part of the DLC because the DLC for me is always like the content aspect, but looking at the update as a whole, we've got to talk about the patch notes here. You know, the patch notes, I think a lot of people would agree with me that were very underwhelming. You know, we only got a few balance changes, and yes, I think some of them were a bit too strong, especially for like the Plaguebringer boss unit. Obviously, they nerfed her speed quite a lot. But you look at the survivor side of things, you know, Ruby got a nerf, which was well and truly deserved. Obviously, they limited the number of cars on maps, and I've definitely been feeling the effect of that, especially, you know, how easy it is to possess cars for the on the demon side of things. And honestly, I found it so much easier playing demon now, to the point where, you know, the survivors can barely use a car. And, you know, I've had a few games on Survivor where I'm really struggling to actually play the game and actually gather loot because they haven't really counteracted the lack of cars in the game. So if I'm playing on the big map, actually had games where I've had to run to the south of the map, all the way up to the north of the map, and then back down to the south of the map because there's been no cars. And, you know, if you're not going to have that many, then we really needed, you know, possibly some extra loot on the big map in particular. The other maps are more or less fine. It is just that map in general. I think it's just terrible to play on. But yeah, overall, the patch notes I thought were very lackluster. I was really hoping for a Necronomicon rework this update, honestly. I'm very disappointed that there was nothing reworked about the book phase in this update. You know, it's probably one of the most biggest complaints around the community these days, not just on the Survivor side of things, because, you know, whiny Survivor stuff. The demons also complain about it because they just think, you know, it's a boring phase and it's all about kind of just a DPS check for about 2 minutes, and it's very boring, honestly. I think the dark ones, like I've said, should always be the last phase of the game, and it should be a tougher experience for both sides, and it should be a really fun final battle in the game instead of this like standing around in an animate object and all just jerking each other off. I guess it's just kind of weird. But yeah, the patch notes in general for this update were really bad, and now I'm going to read you guys' comments and just go through a lot of stuff there. Okay, so for the first comment, it's from Panzer Slayer 115. The skins in the update are some of the best skins they've added, plus Brock is a very fun and unique leader compared to the non-Ruby leaders, and Baal is a really fun demon. So I totally agree with that. I think Brock was a really nice addition to the game. Yeah, I said, like you said as well, he's a unique leader, and like I touched on earlier, that he has some variety to his playstyle. And, you know, Baal being a very fun demon as well. We went into a lot of discussion about Baal there, so I totally agree with that. However, the skins, yeah, I did like a couple of the skins. I just think they could have been better as well. Obviously, the Asylum outfit was also on Ash. It's my favorite outfit in the game now. And Kelly's outfit from the mission that you can unlock for free, I thought that was a really nice addition too. But the Amanda outfit, I think, is a bit of a controversial one to take on the chin, to be honest. And also the Pablo outfit, again, I thought was a bit lazy. But yeah, so 2 of the outfits out of 4 of them, you know, I thought were really, really nice. And I think if we had that extra Amanda outfit, I think the DLC would have been bumped up a lot there. I think the extra Amanda outfit would have looked really nice, and I thought it would have been really awesome for the character to see as well. But thanks for your comment, Panzer Slayer. I do agree with most of it, yeah. For my next comment, I chose Mickle Pickle 89. They said, I really love the addition of Brock and Baal, but I'm pretty convinced that people wanted Chet first instead of Brock. Exactly what I touched on earlier as well. A lot of people were asking for Chet, and it's quite weird that we got Brock before him, but hopefully in the future we still get Chet in the next DLC, or in a future DLC, because hopefully the devs aren't done with this game yet. Okay, so for my next comments from Glory, guys, appreciate a comment in Glory. Really would like your opinion on basic light attack spam on Baal basic units. Do you think they are in a good spot with proper regulations on energy costs? It's been the only thing I've had some issues with surviving against as a low-leveled Steam account. So yeah, I can kind of get the stun locking with Baal's basic units is pretty strong, to be honest. I don't actually have them buffed up on my demon build for Baal. However, I still managed to sort of down survivors relatively fast with them because, I don't personally use the light attacks. I mainly use the heavy attacks on them, and combined with their abilities where they do like the fast attack move and stuff, and being able to dodge and then start doing the combo again, I think they can be quite annoying. So again, to play against them on a new Steam account, a low-level Steam account, it can be very difficult, honestly. I do think, however, they're not as annoying as Plaguebringer's basic units, where they can just like almost infinitely stun lock you, and the whole infernal energy stuff kind of works different on Plaguebringer to Baal. Baal does sort of drain infernal energy relatively fast with each unit that he possesses. Of course, you're kind of looking at doing infernal energy stuff as well. Yeah, I do understand early game the basics can be a bit of a problem. I do understand the frustration part of that, because I have played against them myself early game, and they've been very annoying to try and get away from. So maybe they might need a little bit of a tweaking. I'm not too sure that they need massively changed. I think they are relatively in a good spot, but possibly could do with just a slight, tweak to bring them down to possibly a more acceptable level. For the next comment, I chose Steve Evil. Appreciate you commenting on the post. Probably the best overall DLC in terms of both sides getting viable unit in Brock and Baal. I totally agree. Going back throughout the entire year here from the DLC standpoint, the content updates, we haven't really had an update where it's been like, I suppose you can look at the 2013 DLC where Survivor got like, 2 new survivors. We got Mia and we got David. Also, they released Plaguebringer around that time as well. I think they released it in the same update. It was that long ago, I can't even remember. But, that was, in my mind, it was a decent DLC, but it wasn't great. It was nice to see that they're not flooding the game with survivors. We are getting one of each on each side, which is, what content needs to be going forward, honestly, And like I said, even if it's in a struggle, adding demons, add them little variety demons I talked about earlier in the video. I think that'll be really fantastic. And then, bringing in a new survivor like Chet, Brandy, Dalton, any Knights of Samaria, anything from the TV show would be great. There's even people from the movies they can still add as well. So there's a lot of content still to be added in this game, and hopefully they do look at doing that in the future. But as you said, the best overall DLC, I think this has been probably the best DLC. I like Castle Kandar mainly. From a DLC standpoint, Castle Kandar wasn't actually that good, because if you think about it, all we really got was some new outfits and some new weapons. We didn't get a new survivor, we didn't get a new demon, we got a new map, and the map was free, so I don't really class that as a DLC. We mainly just got outfits for the characters there. So it was rather unfortunate, but yeah, as you say, it is probably the best overall DLC we've had so far, and probably the closest one I can think of is the 2013 remake DLC that we got in the game. Okay, so for my next comment is from Rat of Jax, which is Richie. Appreciate you commenting on the post, lad. He says, lad, this update is probably one of the best simply for the large amount of people that are brought in. I can finally play the game now and have been loving it. Brock is a blast, and with the introduction of Baal, I'm planning on playing Demon for once. It's a shame Ashley Slashy wasn't a charm of sorts for everyone to wear, but beggars can't be choosers. At this rate, I don't think we need any more characters for a while. Just one cosmetic a week and constant quality of life updates, and rebalancing the hunter and a couple of demons. At this rate, just start making the game run smoother and easier to use and customize. In my opinion, this is the best DLC we've received for this game, except for maybe the Hail of the King DLC for adding me Smithy. I appreciate the comment, lad, and I pretty much agree with everything here, especially the one where you say, we don't need any more characters for a while. Yes, characters are nice. They bring a little, change to the game, and someone else and someone fresh to the game. However, like you said, bringing in a cosmetic a week, I'm always a fan of adding more skins to the game and having quality of life changes happening in that process, rather than them looking at like, oh, let's do the next big chapter here. Because that way, we're getting content pumped into the game. We can start having maybe costume contests on the community side of things, people designing their own outfits. Obviously, there's the whole IP holder conflictions there and stuff like that, but I don't see why it would be an issue why they couldn't add even one cosmetic every 2 weeks. Never mind one a week. Every 2 weeks would even be fine with me, even for the demon side of things, because demon so far has only had like 3 new outfits, which is absolutely terrible, by the way. When you look at the survivor side of things, you know, they've had so many outfits added so far, and for me, it's still not enough. You know, I think for the amount of stuff that happens in the TV show and the movies, there's so much, you know, source material for outfits and things that you could throw into the game. And, you know, we even have original outfits, like, you know, we got the Savini Ash outfit. There's a few other original outfits from the Army of Darkness Ash characters that we've never seen before that have been brought into the game as well. So I don't understand why they can't really bring, you know, design their own outfits as well. You know, you don't have to rely on the source material and things like that. And like I said, if you're doing the outfits that way, and then you're just working on quality of life stuff, like as you said, making the game run smoother, making it easier to use, and but working on balance changes as well. Maybe he's reworking the prestige system a little bit. Like, I'd rather they focus on a lot of that stuff for the next, you know, few months, and then working on like a new map as well. And I'd be fine if they didn't add any characters for like half a year to this game. I think we've got enough characters to keep us satisfied for a long time, as long as they keep adding new things, like little things like that, just to keep the game feeling fresh. I think personally that would be great. But yeah, as you said, this is the best DLC you've received apart from the Hail to the King DLC. So the Hail to the King DLC was decent. It was a bit random though. We did get a lot of outfits there, and they added the blacksmith. Obviously, again, a very random character. A lot of people didn't really ask for blacksmith, but I suppose the devs felt like it needed to be introduced to the game. But yeah, it was a decent one. Okay, for the next comment is from Grayson, the Goosebumps Kid 1992. This definitely was a way better DLC than the Immortal Power Bundle. Marketing has improved. I'm glad they got rid of skill-based matchmaking. DVD suffers heavily from that. However, I do think there wasn't many balance changes made, and we do need some quality of life improvements. So I think a lot of us are on the same page here, talking about obviously quality of life improvements. I do agree, DBD did suffer a lot from the skill-based matchmaking side of things. I preferred Dead by Daylight back in the day when you had the ranking system. I thought games felt more balanced than what, you know, DBD did offer with the MMR system. And of course, as you said, the marketing has improved with the recent DLC, which I think is fantastic. Honestly, the marketing for this DLC was absolutely amazing, but they kind of did the same thing again, where they market a little bit and then, you know, they go silent after the new update comes out, which is something they need to stop doing, because, you know, your new updates just come out of the game. You need to be shouting from the fucking rooftops. You need to be constantly trying to pull new players into the game. But again, we're just, you know, radio silence since the updates come out. It's not good enough, honestly. A better DLC than the Immortal Power Bundle, I totally agree. The Immortal Power Bundle was very concerning, to be honest. You know, we got the obviously Splatter Royale came in that update. A lot of people don't even play that mode now. I'm pretty sure nobody plays that game mode, so that was a total waste of manpower and time there. The skins, obviously, that we got in the Immortal Power Bundle were decent. I think we got the Pablo outfit, and we got a free Pablo outfit, so we got 2 new Pablo outfits. We got an Elagos skin, and I believe we got the Jacksonville Ash outfit, and of course we got Ruby. So it was very survivor orientated, that update. They did one skin for the demon side of things, but again, I felt it was a very lackluster update. And again, this is boiling down to their content strategy. What is going on? Because if you look at Elagos's outfit and Kelly's most recent outfit, that looks like something that was probably made for them to push a event out around Christmas time, which I heard that they were trying to get out in time, but they actually ran out of time to do that. It just feels kind of random how they're pushing stuff into updates, and it's kind of stuff that we probably could have had months ago, and it's then turning up just in the game now, and it's all kind of separated as well. It's quite bizarre, honestly. The Immortal Power Bundle was not a good update as well, and like you said, this is definitely a way better DLC, and I totally agree. You know, bringing a new demon to the game definitely improves things a lot. So appreciate your comment. So the next comment is from Manny C90. They say the new skins and characters are always welcome, don't get me wrong, but they should sell the packs separately so demon mains get what they want, and the same with survivors. Also hope a new game mode gets added to the anniversary update, Horde mode, but I'm not holding my breath. Okay, so about the skins, yeah, the skins are very nice, and the characters, again, always welcome, like I said, but I think that's something that we can kind of get away from now. I don't think we really need anything new for a while. Obviously, you know, if they add Chet or, you know, Lem as a new demon or something later on down the line, that's totally fine. But now I think it's time, like we said, to start getting some quality of life stuff in the game. You know, I really hate this game doesn't have a marketplace. I know you guys are probably tired of me saying it in almost every stream and every video that this game doesn't have a marketplace, but it's one of the most important factors in like a live service game to have. You know, you want people to hop onto your game, you know, have little sales on your marketplace, have like new outfits thrown into your marketplace. You just want... I mean, this is the perfect game to have it in. You have something called S-Mart, where you could literally make an S-Mart based marketplace. You can have so much stuff thrown in there, everything's separated. You know, people can choose to buy the bundle for the whole DLC, or people can choose to buy stuff in like separately. You know, let people spend some spirit points on little things like charms and stuff like that. I don't understand why we can't have that in the game right now, and maybe that's down to the IP holders, maybe that's down to Saber just being lazy. They don't want to do stuff like that, or they don't want to commit to that sort of thing. But yeah, I think having a marketplace, you know, it's marketing the game for you as well. In terms of people, you know, coming back to the game, a lot of people just came back to the game. You know, I've had a few people say to me, oh, when did they add Mia? Like, people didn't even know Mia was in the game. When did they add this character, etc.? When did they add this outfit? So a lot of people don't even understand that there's some stuff in the game that's been added, because they've been away for a while. They don't pay attention to the social media side of things, and it's not like you get like a big pop-up in the game when you load it up saying like, hey, check out the new DLC bundle or whatever. Like, so yeah, I think it's very important, you know, going forward with quality of life stuff and adding new skins, that, and also maybe working on a new map at the same time. You know, I don't think that's a massive workload, honestly. If they've got maybe it's if they've got a tiny fucking dev studio working on this, but they don't. It's Saber. Saber's a massive studio. I don't understand why they can't actually work on stuff like that. And like I said, maybe they're just too scared to commit to this game for the lack of funding or something like that. But, you know, they're not going to get any funding if they're not going to put any stuff in the game as well. It's, you know, pretty self-explanatory. And obviously they just got a big chunk of cash from all the Steam sales and people buying the Game of the Year editions and stuff. So it's really, you know, looking at it, they've probably just funded the game for the next, you know, few months or so, depending on how much they've earned. So it should definitely be something that they need to be looking at, and hopefully they add that in a future update. And of course, as you say, a new game mode gets added to the anniversary update. We are not far away from the anniversary update. Like I said, it's about 10 days away from me recording this video. It does come out on the 13th, of course. So, you know, adding a horde mode on the anniversary update, I wouldn't be against that. I actually heard that there is a lot of people who don't even play it online on this game. There's a lot of people who play it offline. A lot of people play exploration mode. A lot of people play Survivor versus AI because they just don't want to play online with people. Obviously, they just want to, you know, just kill, you know, deadites. So, you know, if they introduce a horde mode like that, and maybe you'll start seeing those people starting to join up with other players and then start playing online that way as well. The problem is with a horde mode, you know, that might sap a bit of player base away from the ASIM mode, but I think if they worked on a horde, if they had horde mode in the ASIM mode instead of Splatter Royale, I think that would have been perfect. Obviously, I don't think anyone's playing Splatter Royale, so that shouldn't be a problem being in the game, but they've kind of got to watch their player base numbers with that. But I appreciate the comment, and I totally agree with almost everything you said there. Okay, so I'm done reading everyone's comments. I appreciate you all commenting on the post. Obviously, I didn't get through to everyone. Unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of time for this video. I don't want it to go too long, but maybe I should have done this in a podcast format instead. It would have probably been better to do it for a whole hour. And, you know, it's nice to do sort of like an in-depth DLC discussion. What we will talk about now, just before we end the video, is about the Steam release. So the Steam release, I think, was, you know, very nice for the game. I think everyone wanted that. I think a lot of people were very annoyed, though, that there was no cross progression. So yeah, people are kind of stuck playing Epic Games Store. If they have, you know, loads of progress built up, you can't really transfer your progress to Steam, which is very unfortunate, honestly. Even I don't understand why you can't add cross progression between two platforms. They have it on World War Z. I don't understand why they can't do it for this game. Someone said somewhere, I can't remember if it was in my stream or something, that was impossible. One of the devs said it was impossible for them to add cross progression to the game. I really hope that's not the case. Hopefully it is something that we will get later down the line in like a quality of life improvement. But overall, for the Steam release, I think that was okay. I don't think it went as well as they expected, because it's been getting a lot of mixed reviews, and unfortunately it hit a lot of snags. You know, a lot of people were disconnecting on the Steam version. You know, people had kept verifying their game files and stuff like that to try and actually play the game. So there was some issues there with like Steam servers and people trying to play the game. But you know, looking at the update overall, I don't think it was an amazing update. just like overall, you know, it was kind of bad, like in terms of lack of quality of life improvements. You know, some of the free stuff we got, you know, the mission was kind of mid. It wasn't anything special. It was nice to get a free outfit at the end of it, obviously, but you know, it kind of took me back to the first days of the game being out, where you used to grind for the missions to unlock stuff, and that's the kind of thing that I like to see going forward for this game. You know, grinding something to unlock something special, like a skin, rather than grinding something to unlock an extra 1% of my skill tree. I think that'll be something that we should be looking at going forward for this game, and hopefully they have people now working on the game that can steer it in the right direction, and hopefully they're done putting whatever content they wanted into the game this last year. Now they're going to start focusing on what the player base wants, and that'll be very good. But yeah, like I said, looking at the DLC, like the update overall, I think it was lackluster. It was nice to get a lot of new players in, obviously, from the Steam side of things. They really probably should have kept the MMR system in place, just for people to, you know, play against people of their level. You know, all the new players from Steam can easily get put off playing against the new demons. However, I do enjoy the fast queue times. Don't get me wrong, it's so much better having faster queue times. I think I'd rather just play the game than sit around waiting. But however, if you want fair and balanced matches, sometimes you've got to wait. They just got to find like the sweet spot in between that to get into the game, so that way people can enjoy every experience every time they play the game. And of course, obviously, there's the balance inside of things there. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff to look into with that. However, content-wise in this DLC, I'd give it roughly about an 8 out of 10. I'm mainly bringing it down because looking at, you know, the weapons, I don't think they were fantastic. They were okay, and that kind of goes to show how bad the other weapons were in previous DLCs. But, you know, the pipe was, you know, somewhat decent. The SMG's decent. But again, some of them felt a bit lazy. Obviously, the voices as well and the characters, they don't feel amazing at all, so I'm kind of bringing that down in the DLC. But, you know, overall, some of the outfits were fantastic, you know, and the new demon, for me, you know, Baal, honestly, I think carries this update. He really does. Brock, again, is a solid choice. I think he's a decent new addition to the game. But honestly, I think having a new demon really fleshed this update out and made it feel quite special. For me, personally, what I would have done is push this back to the anniversary and just had a huge update then. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we get on the anniversary. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I don't want this video to go on too long. But I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the DLC as well, what you want to see in the future of the game as well. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to leave the video there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, leave me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the DLC. And going forward, hopefully we can do some more feedback videos and get your guys' inputs and what you'd like to see into the game as well. I kind of like doing these podcast type of format videos. They take a long time to make, but honestly, I think they're a lot of fun, and hopefully it does help the game to improve going forward. And, you know, if Saber choose not to watch my videos, they probably don't, because they probably hate my guts at this point. You know, it'd be really nice to start doing some surveys, you know, getting a lot of people involved and trying to process some feedback towards the dev side of things. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that sub button if you're on the channel. I do stream this game Monday to Thursday. I've got a lot of Evil Dead content on my channel as well. And I've been Pixels, my awesome viewers. I'll catch you guys in the next one.